LeBron James is not a clutch player. We know that. Okay. We see that. Okay, you're already making faces that maybe you're gonna make some statement that, oh yeah, of course he is, and then suddenly pull up some stats and win shares, or I don't know, some other RPM or some rubbish that he is a clutch player. But I think there's a few things that we need to think about, when we talk about clutch players. Okay, the first one is from a team perspective. You can only have a clutch situation if your team is actually close enough to the other team to create that situation or that opportunity. Okay. I think it's often overlooked. If you think about like the Warriors from a few years ago, when they were dominating the league, okay, they were the lineup of death, right? And they were killing the third quarter. And many players sat the whole fourth quarter because they're already up double digits. Okay. So guess what? Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, those other Warriors, you ain't going to be clutch because you don't even need to be clutch. In fact, being clutch is probably more a byproduct of your team not putting another team away. All right, that's the first part of this take. The second part of this take is that the simplest eye test here for a player to be clutch is that you want the ball. And I think, like I said at the start, LeBron is not a clutch player. It is clear that he does not want the ball when the game is close to have that shot. And if you think about like hell, when we're like 10 years old and you're like, you're counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, give me the ball. I want to make this buzzer beater, right? Obviously, no one's being critiqued on social media when they're shooting those sort of shots. But Kobe wanted the ball. MJ wanted the ball. Okay. Dame wants the ball. These players go get the ball, and LeBron does not.
Intent and result are two different things, right? So the stats actually validate that LeBron James is clutch. So he actually has right on par with Jordan and Kobe, the same amount of buzzer beater, game winner stuff, right? We're splitting hairs in terms of slight percentages, etc. But LeBron James is actually in that company. So results wise, he has technically demonstrated the ability to be clutch. What you're probably arguing is the intent, as in he has that feeling within him that every time the game is really close, he's going to grab the ball and he's going to do something with it. Now, one of the things that's happened during his career is he's passed up game-winning shots, right? And there have been times where his teammates hit that shot, fantastic times that they missed it, and then he gets the scrutiny. I think the hard part with this is I think LeBron is a victim of almost a highlight culture, right? So what we had is we had Jordan come through with all these highlights about fantastic clutch game-winning shots. And then Kobe really picked up that mantle and ran with it. And then LeBron kind of took over as being the face of the league. But LeBron doesn't have those highlights, right? And in fact, when you think about LeBron highlights in general, you can pick a lot of different categories, but is he actually the leader in any one category? I don't think he has the best assists in the league, but he's top 3 in assists. I don't think he has the best dunks in the league, but he'd be top 3 in the league. So shots, threes, turnaround fadeaways. I think one of the things that comes out about LeBron James is that he's the best overall basketball player ever, right? He just doesn't do anything that's as sexy as other people who've done them before, right? So Kobe's hit some fantastic fadeaway jumpers. So he gets himself in that situation in the first place because he's probably made the pass that's actually the sensible basketball play anyway. I love this take only because I think we're wanting LeBron to be a certain archetype of player that he's actually never demonstrated himself to be, right? Magic Johnson is probably the comparison, or Karl Malone. Those probably are the two amalgamated players that LeBron James really embodies. And, you think about Magic Johnson, his most iconic shot, probably from a game-winning perspective, was the skyhook, right, when he played center. And that's not really a sexy shot. It's just a shot that he did, and it was timely. And LeBron has those shots of his own. It's just not as sexy. It's not a Turner FA. But then, there's I think the reason why I'm stumbling here is that you've come out with all this anti-LeBron thing, and it's like he's got such a big body of work that I don't actually understand how people say that he's not clutch.
But let me ask you this. Maybe you don't have an answer to this, and I was trying to pull it up, and look, I don't have it prepared in front of me either. But what's the definition of clutch? because I think statistically that's within, what is it? Within 5 points. And I don't know. I think it's actually quite broad. Is it within 60 seconds? Like the game is within
I
five
think it's the
points,
last
60
minute,
seconds. Yep,
5 points.
5 points. Okay. I don't necessarily think that's clutch. Yeah, that's close. That's a close game. All right, that's a close
So
game
you want to
and
go
a
like
competitive
last
game.
possession stuff.
We're
You want
so
to go last
I
possession
I
stuff.
think we got to break down the clutch definition here. We're talking about clutch, being clutch right now. That's the topic. Okay. The clutch definition is too broad, I think, if you're saying 5 points, 60 seconds. Okay. We're literally talking about one bucket. I wouldn't even say 24 seconds. I was thinking shot clock, 24 seconds. I'm not even saying 24 seconds. I'm saying 10 seconds. Okay, and I don't know whether there's a statistic out there. I'm sure there is, but I don't have it in front of me. Okay, we may not be able to pull it up easily. Okay, but I'd love to hear what are the statistics for players in the last 10 seconds within one bucket. So that's 3 points and the ability to make the shot.
Well,
So
this is an article from 2022, right? When they were eliminated by the Suns in the playoffs. Um, he has 19 game winners, right, with 8 buzzer beaters. And this is actually right on par with Kobe and Jordan. I don't even know if he's accumulated an extra one or two since then, but he has done this. He has actually already done this. And then when you think about clutchness, is the block on Andre Iguodala in Game 7 of the Finals clutch or not? Because I think if you're trying to put a fine line between when he did that and when it isn't, that's where it becomes problematic. Is the 25 or 27 consecutive points against Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals, is that clutch or is that not clutch? So I think there's aspects like if we're talking strictly buzzer beaters, he still has a lot of buzzer beaters.
Well, I think we're talking about clutch from my perspective in my head is that we're talking about clutch moments. So yes, there's clutch games. Absolutely. When you play a game, you score 40 points in a conference final or something like that, you're dominating the whole game. Maybe it's a blowout, but it's a clutch performance. Yeah, it's a high pressure game. Yeah, okay, that's a different topic. I think we're alluding to the point of that last, like I was saying, 10 seconds. Okay. And firstly, the score has to be close enough to be a clutch situation. Okay, if you're up by 5, okay, or up by 10, that's not a clutch situation. You can't have a clutch play or clutch play because it's not even a clutch situation. Okay, then the player has to want that moment. Okay, has to want that shot. Okay, and we are talking about shots. We're not talking about plays because now you're talking about plays like a block. Could be a defensive rebound. That's a clutch rebound, huge rebound, so on and so forth. Got that loose ball, so on and so forth. Okay, all right, and they're clutch moments. Okay, too. But we're talking about scoring. Okay, and that's obviously a big part of obviously highlights and why how we perceive players.
I think, I'm looking up, for example, some YouTube compilations here of what constitutes as a clutch moment. They do identify as the game being closed within about a minute. And then if you wanted to filter it a little bit more to the last 20 seconds or like the final possession that your team could theoretically have, then obviously that number's going to drop a little bit. He does do it. He actually does do it. So I don't know what you want from him. I think you want him to do it a specific way. I don't think LeBron looks at a game, right? Because we talked about this with the Kyrie and Luka thing, right? LeBron actually does resonate with that. He is going to make the right play based off what is the most sensible thing to do based off what the defense give him. So he's willing to take a shot from times and he's also willing to pass it. And that's kind of how he operates. The difference between him and Kobe is that everyone in the building knew that when that possession was going to start, is that Kobe was going to take the shot. And that's why you see so many moments in Kobe's career where he's got 2 or 3 defenders on him because it actually was so transparent as a game plan. And then from a flip side here, you could almost make a case and say that's stubborn because that's not actually being clutch. That's almost being so egotistically driven that you make a bad basketball play with the chance of getting it in. But the reality is that as long as you put up a shot, you theoretically could make a shot. Therefore, you could get it in. And I think LeBron understands that he's trying to get the best possible shot in the worst possible time to be getting it, which is usually the clutch where players crumble or people get really tired or people choke up. And he's taken the shot himself, made it and missed it. And he's given it to people who have made it and missed it. I think this isn't worth penalizing him for just because he doesn't do it the same way as other people. He is clutch. He does things that are clutch.
Yo, this is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick.
you're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist in giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.